Welcome to Geeks Corner. I'm Mr. Daps.
I'm Katie.
Snails lay eggs.
They do? What do they look like?
Chicken eggs.
How small? What? How small are
But
they?
they taste like escargot.
It depends on the size of the snail, but the larger snails, they legitimately look like chicken eggs.
I'm gonna Google this later.
You should. It's uncomfortable.
I want to see photos. I don't, but I do. You know, you get it.
And I'm Cameron. Use the hashtag Geeks Corner to talk at us about snail eggs.
No, don't do that.
And if you want to.
You could.
First things first,
I'm
what
the
you really
realist.
need to tweet us about, and I guess we can check the chat also, is we have a new friend here.
You
from
have a friend.
Our friend Jeff.
Her name
And,
is Katie.
He showed
We've
up.
recently agreed to actually be friends with her.
Other friend. This one.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. So our friend here, Porg from another planet,
You are a friend.
celebrating Halloween time wonderfully, needs a name. So this Porg appeared on our door looking for a home and friendship and shelter
Don't.
and
401k
love.
benefits with 5% matching annuity.
Yeah, but then they discovered out we don't offer those.
No.
Anyway,
Dental's alright.
if you have a good name for this Porg, please let us know in the comments or on Twitter, and we will consider them carefully. And I don't know, we should do this for a couple weeks, I feel like, and then when we have the perfect name,
We will sear it into his carapace.
sure, that's one way to do it.
Or maybe stitch it.
Like right across the back,
Yeah,
kind of like
Yeah, like a
The
like a
Letterman's
jersey.
jacket?
Yeah.
Like a spirit jersey.
a spirit jersey. I'm
Porg in a
surprised they
spirit
don't have
jersey.
a
I could
Porg
hear
spirit.
that eye roll. That was real good.
A Porg spirit jersey. That's
Don't say
an
that loud.
idea.
Don't.
Hashtag Porg spirit jersey.
Hashtag
quiet, they can
Porg
hear
spirit
you.
Jersey. Yes, that's a good idea. Or all the above. Anyway, that's what we would like to do, and
That's what you would like to do.
maybe that's good
Are there any names that are off?
because the
off
website's
table?
called DAPS Magic. Anything inappropriate, right?
Well, yeah, I don't mean legitimately. I just mean like,
Wow.
not Jack. Jack's too easy.
Not
no.
Norm.
Well, I don't know. You could make it.
Norm is off limits.
Yeah, Norm is another Porg, and as we all know, Porgs cannot
And I
change.
think Porgins is off limits too.
Porgins has already. Well, Porg is also a Porg, so
Yeah.
Can't
So
share names.
can't need a new name.
I don't
unique.
remember what Bailey's
if it's-
mom ended up naming her Porg, but
if
that
it's-
name is also off limits.
If it's punny, it gets extra points.
absolutely.
No.
Doesn't guarantee a win,
Minus
but
points.
if it makes Luke laugh,
No.
if it makes Luke give another pun to follow up with
No.
the first
That's
pun,
even less points.
you get more points. And then ultimate points is if Luke does a pun, which leads to Cameron doing a pun, which leads to me doing a pun. If you hit all three, that's like solid gold.
Yeah. Here's an example for you. Gordon.
I hate it. I hate it.
Is it gonna be Flash?
No, you.
I'm going a different way.
Okay.
I went Indiana Jones because that's later in the show.
Sure. I've got nothing. Please don't look at me.
Luke, do you have a
Well, it's not Porgins, but Porkin Patch.
A Porg and Patch.
That's-
Yeah. It's a great Porg in Charlie Brown.
No, it's no.
Would you
This
just get a bunch of rocks? Is that what would happen?
Yeah.
this episode feels like for me so far. I got a rock.
Okay.
Welcome to Geeks Corner. We, for some reason, I'm not included, love porgs.
Porgin head.
Excuse me,
No.
porgin head?
Yeah. Instead of
That
pumpkin
felt like
head.
you were calling me a cotton-headed
Instead of
mini
a
muggins.
pumpkin head could be a porgin head. The look of disgust on Katie's face. LOL. Bailey says, "I would wear a Porg spirit jersey. Listen, it has to have porgs marching across the back." That's exactly what it would have. Is porgs marching across the back.
JJ Porgrams.
It's terrible.
Is that anything?
No,
Is that?
drop it.
It tastes right.
Bad. Leave it. Leave it. Drop it.
I don't. The only problem is there's no lens flare on Geeks Corner
That's
right
true.
now, so I
Not
feel
yet.
like yeah.
Grab the nearest bright light and scan it across your face.
Same effect. What?
No, not you. You're here in the real world. They're not real.
Just take our
I was gonna
iPhone
aim it at
flashlight
the.
and
That's what I was gonna do. I was gonna aim it at the camera and see if we can pull this
Oh,
off.
I got you.
All right, so this is the time of year you guys do your thing with the camera thing, and This is the time of year where parties take over everywhere. It seems like. Yeah, we're just not getting a lens flare.
We gotta be closer.
To I don't know. Thank you, Sony. I don't know.
Hashtag
Anyway,
thanks,
this
Sony.
last Thursday night, we went to Not Scary Farm. We're going to talk about Halloween. And then on Tuesday night, some of us went to
Subtle.
Everybody was invited.
You were. I wasn't.
Yeah, you
I
were.
didn't go.
I was in Slack about 4 months
No,
ago.
I believe you. I saw it.
Okay. Anyway.
I chose not to go. It's a better way
Yes.
of putting
It actually would have been way more fun to have you there because we could have continued on.
What am I, chop liver?
it. Yeah.
No, I just think it would have been really good
It was
balance.
a joke!
Yes.
That was me
Anyway,
being
we
funny.
had a blast with Steven
Work on
on Tuesday night at Oogie Boogie Bash, and we had a blast with Cameron on Thursday night
And
at
this
Not
guy.
Scary Farm. And they both really were a blast. Like, we had a lot of fun at both of them. Oogie Boogie Bash, what was your highlight really quick, Katie?
My highlight, Villains Grove.
Villains Grove was a surprise hit for me.
Especially because it was a good mix of creepier than you would expect at a Disney park, and
It's a Disney scare zone without any scarers.
well, but there was parts that were creepy, there was parts that were gorgeous, there were parts that had great music, there were parts that told really cool stories, but there was parts that seriously creeped me out. And I think part of it was that because my guard was down because I was at Disney.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Villains Grove, definitely my favorite thing about Oogie Boogie Bash.
Okay. What would you say was the top entertainment offering for Oogie Boogie Bash? Like, I will say the surprise. Like, if we were to have a an award for the surprise hit of the night, there
Mickey's
was actually
Trick or Treat
two
thingy?
of them. Yeah, the Mickey's
Yeah.
Trick and Treat really surprised me with how fun and
Precious.
cute it was.
Yeah.
Part of it was seeing the character costumes that we don't normally see.
Donald's a werewolf.
Donald's a werewolf.
I'm a baby.
Goofy was a mummy,
mummy.
which was hilarious.
It was
and,
perfect.
And Mickey and Minnie were cute.
Yeah.
But,
I don't remember that particular monster.
You don't remember the cute monster?
Yeah. But that and the Villains Grove were
Yeah.
two like surprise hits for me because we've been hearing about especially Villains Grove for a while.
I had.
Oh, really?
That was a
Villains
complete
Grove.
surprise to me.
Whoa,
Oh, it's been on the Parks
Villains
blog,
Grove.
and I feel like
How did I miss it?
I don't know. Like there was pictures too that they gave us, but
I
they
am a
were
fool.
all they're on the website too.
I'm a fool.
It's okay, but I mean it's almost better that way.
Yeah, it was.
Because what they showed us, I was like, okay, that's nice. And I just had zero expectations. And then I was like, oh, there's a line for this. And then as we went into it, it was like, there's a reason there's a line for this. This
Yeah.
is actually really good. There's awesome effects. And
I think part of it was also I was trying to keep myself blind to the entire Oogie Boogie Bash because I had never been to a Disneyland Halloween party before. So I tried not to quote unquote spoil it for myself.
Yep.
Because I knew I would get a lot of candy, which I didn't bring tonight. Sorry, I'm a failure.
oh, I didn't either. We were gonna play a game where you guess how much candy we got, how many pieces.
I've eaten a lot of it.
Oh, I have not.
Oh, I know, but
No
it's fine.
candy at Not Scary Farm. No matter how many of the clowns I asked.
You would
That
think.
is true.
How rude.
So then another new thing this year at the Halloween party, well, they had the projections on the Carthay Circle restaurant, which were
I
awesome.
loved that.
The trick-or-treat trails were definitely an upgrade from other years. Previously, generally, you just go down a trail and you get candy.
And
This
lap.
year, this year they partnered a lot of them with different villains.
Which was fun.
like, there weren't any non-villains. Were
Is
there?
Mad Hatter a villain? The Johnny Depp Mad Hatter?
He's kind of
It was
a little bit.
The Depp Hatter?
Yeah, it was the Depp Hatter.
It was really cool.
Say Depp Hatter.
Depp Hatter.
And then they had Oogie Boogie and Dr. Facilier and Maleficent and Evil Queen.
Read my article on dapsmagic.com to know why most of those aren't actually villains.
That is true. Good plug. But it added an extra element. I had zero interest in candy, and I walked away with a bag overflowing just because I did have interest in the characters, and I
Yeah.
had to get candy to see the characters,
Well, and
which was funny.
one of the easiest ones that we got to sit there and watch was Evil Queen.
Yeah.
Because we could kind of break off without impeding traffic flow, and that was,
She was
so
amazing.
fun. I would have loved to be able to do that for other villains, but it was kind of hard without impeding other guest flow, because we never want to ruin other guest experience.
Yep.
But Evil Queen, we were in a spot where we could just sit there and watch guests interact, watch guests not know what to do.
Yeah, some of them had no
I
clue
don't
how
know
to.
what to do with my hands.
Because she's on a microphone
And she's
above
calling
her
people out too.
cauldron.
Yeah, it was great.
And people had apples, and she said, "You got apples."
We got a video of that up on the website, or on the website and the YouTube channel. So,
Yeah.
How about them
check
apples?
that out. Exactly. The biggest thing that they were really promoting, I feel like, for Oogie Boogie Bash was Villainous, which is the new World of Color show.
Yes.
And before I give my thoughts, did you get to watch the video of it at all?
I haven't
Okay,
yet.
that's
I'm,
fine.
I'm waiting until I can actually see it, hopefully.
That's fair.
Oh, are you going?
I'm hoping to.
Oh, okay, cool.
They occasionally do day of sales, by the way, folks. I did not pre-order my tickets on the assumption that perhaps if the stars aligned, I might be able to go day of.
Okay. Hopefully something opens up. What did you think of Villainous?
I thought it was cute. I do think it was a bit disjointed in parts. It's a little bit clunky, but I went into it not expecting a ton because I know sometimes these seasonal World of Colors can kind of be hit or miss. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought the music was fun. I know some people don't like Disco Oogie Boogie, but I love Disco Oogie Boogie.
That was maybe the best part of the show, actually.
Yeah. It was fun. You get to see villains. I really liked the way they incorporated Incredicoaster. I will say something that I said after we watched it the first time was, wow, projections have gotten really good in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Because when World of Color first debuted, I remember wanting something more.
Yep.
And now it's incredible. Like the things they can do now, even projecting onto mist, it's really good.
Yeah, they did some really cool things. My thought is Villainous to World of Color is the same as Mickey's Mixed Magic is to Disneyland Forever.
Yeah.
It's fun. If you go in looking for a good time, you're going to enjoy yourself. If you go in wanting to see this epic, masterpiece of art, probably not the right show.
Yeah.
And it's not trying to be. It's trying to be
fun.
a fun journey through a little girl's imagination of Disney villains as she comes up with what she wants to be for Halloween.
Yeah, it's cute.
And that's literally the entire premise is, I don't know what I want to be for Halloween. And then her mom says, you can be whatever you want to be. And then she...
And the villains go, boop.
Yeah. It's cute. Like, it's not going to make anybody cry. It's not going to... You know, it's not going to win. It might win an award. I don't know. I don't think it would win an award, but it's
Might
fun.
win a DAPSy.
Do you have a thought on that, Cameron? Or okay.
Stifling a yawn, but I was doing it subtly. Did it work?
No. But it's a fun show. I would go to the second one if you want to see it and get everything else done first, because I feel like if you go and wait for the first one, you're going to miss out on other things.
I agree.
The other really fun thing there, I thought, was the Kingdom Hearts characters.
That was so fun.
Goofy and Donald. That was awesome to see. And they also had Snow White and Dopey and
Blue Fairy and
Blue
Pinocchio.
Fairy, yeah, and Pinocchio.
Ah, yes, Blue Fairy, the true villain.
It was so
Is
funny.
that a new article?
Apparently.
I thought the cutest thing was that Snow White was protecting Dopey as they walked.
Oh yeah, Frightfully Fun Parade.
Frightfully Fun Parade.
And the Headless Horseman.
Yeah.
That was very cool too.
That horse was very tall.
Yeah, it was a big horse.
Yeah, which made the Headless Horseman seem that much more menacing.
So if you could, would you go see, or would you go to Oogie Boogie Bash again
absolutely.
this year? Okay. Or next year.
Yeah,
so yes,
easily.
worth it.
It was so fun.
Bailey says the reactions from crowds during Villainous, especially the disco Oogie Boogie section, was great. Also, Villainous is cute. Agreed. Yeah, it's a fun, cute show.
Just don't think too much about it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's cute.
at the end of the day, this is a
You get
theme
nothing for
park,
nothing.
and it's all about entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's entertaining.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yes.
You have any other questions, thoughts on this, Cameron?
Headless Horseman in the parade, does he go past the Headless Horseman statue and go like,
Yes.
yo?
He stopped right in front of it, actually.
It was Spider-Man meme.
He didn't do that, but he did stop. He stops every bit, and it just happened to be we were by the Headless Horseman statue, and which I'm pretty sure they turned off during that part.
Good.
Yeah.
Because
I
I,
didn't hear
contains
the
your
notice.
soul.
I didn't notice it and hear it behind me, so
Clip clop, clip clop.
but I liked it. It was pretty cool, and the parade was a lot of fun too.
I agree. It was very fun. Cheshire Cat, arguably not a villain, but it's fine.
Cameron, what is your thought there?
I just did the office look to the camera. I think that's
Oh, okay,
good
that's
enough.
But we
Okay.
did argue that in the same spot as Cheshire Cat last year was Vampirina, who was also not a villain. It just kind of like
I can't argue that one now. I'm just keeping going the pattern.
Sure.
It's just kind of like the who is Halloween enough and who can put on the back of the float that'll make people happy.
Speaking of Halloween enough,
Wait, if it's not Cheshire Cat, who's the villain of that movie?
the Queen of Hearts
What'd she do?
tries to cut people's heads off.
She's the queen.
That doesn't mean she's good.
But she does it for bad reasons.
It doesn't matter. She's the queen. She's not evil. She is a public figure following
Listen.
the law of her country.
Let's say that logic does not go very far. She's making the law.
The only one who gets Alice into trouble is the Cheshire Cat.
I was to say the only one that gets Alice into trouble is Alice.
Alice.
But
By the Cheshire Cat's manipulations, which represents her id. That's Lewis Carroll. Anyway, go on.
Continuing on with Halloween number 2, Not Scary Farm started last Thursday night. We were there for the opening night. It was a ton of fun. It was a different feel this year, wouldn't you say, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
You were there 2 years ago.
Yes, it's been 2 years.
We were
wow.
talking about that because we had Tyler last year, but he decided to go off to another country or something.
How dare he
I
be
don't
in
know.
Canada?
Anyway, what were your first overview thoughts of Not Scary Farm this year?
The entertainment, stage entertainment, was better than anything I've ever seen in Knott's.
Yeah.
The other elements were toned in a way that was better than 2 years ago. I didn't feel safe 2 years ago. I felt safe this year.
It's interesting too that you talk about that is 2 years ago everything was definitely really dark. Everything was very foreboding, I guess is a good way to put it. A little bit on the edge, I guess. Last year I felt like they kind of pushed it the other way around where I could see everything. There were no real surprises. There was too much light. I felt like scare zones especially, like I was like, oh, this is easy for pictures this year. And then this week it was back to dark again, but not too dark.
It was narratively dark. That was the biggest
Yes.
notice. That things that were spooky or scary had a reason for it, which is true for movie logic too. When things get dark in a film, or there's language or anything else of the sort, as long as there's a reason for it, you're good.
And I would actually say there was more lights and more smoke this year than other years, but it felt darker and it was harder to see, but it was more controlled this way. So I thought it was a huge improvement. I also like how they seem to be incorporating the story of Knott's Berry Farm into Not Scary Farm a whole lot more. It was almost a Scary Farm continuation of Ghost Town Alive this summer, with a lot of what they did from the hanging to Origins Maze to
The opening
the
ceremony.
opening ceremony. Like they really started connecting dots, which I think is fantastic because I was even seeing on Twitter all of these people that were huge Ghost Town Alive fans geeking out about the opening ceremony and all of Origins and the hanging and all this stuff too.
That was a good opening. They had a good crowd of folks coming out right at the beginning.
It was
was-
fantastic.
That was awesome.
That was the best opening I've seen there.
I agree. It was more than just Monster Mosh Pit. I think that when I was waiting for Puppet Up, I actually ran into a friend that I've known for a very, very long time. And the way he described, it was Origins specifically, but I feel like it was Scary Farm in general this year. He told me it's a love letter to Calico.
True
And
story.
I agree wholeheartedly. It's especially Origins, but talking about the opening ceremony, the Calico Scare Zone is better than ever this year because they're actually playing into a narrative. It's not just, ooh, scary. It's, there's a reason, and I actually thought it made it much more frightening with the opening ceremony because it was these normal citizens who have this like weird bloodlust and they don't want to hurt people, but they're becoming monsters, which I thought was fascinating. And they really played into that story, and everyone who was working.
It created a cost to everything that was happening as opposed to just a scare.
Yeah, it was real, and it made everything feel. It made like Ghost Town Alive. You feel like you're part of the story. It felt like you were part of.
You mentioned also Puppet Up,
Oh my God, I
which
love
to
Puppet
me
Up.
is the easy home run of this year's
Absolutely.
Not Scary Farm. It's an adult puppet show brought forth by the Jim Henson Company.
Formerly Elvira Muppets of the Dark.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I was surprised at how not adult it was. Part of that could have been the people in the room throwing out ideas.
Yeah.
But
It's all improv.
like there was some language.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers probably would have had a few things to say, depending on
later.
the movie.
Steve Rogers, not so much.
Maybe
Earlier,
not later,
Steve
but earlier.
Rogers.
Yeah. But it was absolutely hilarious, charming. It captured the spirit of the original Muppets and moved forward with it. And yes, it was for adults, but like throw out a few language things and it could have been a kid-friendly show. And it didn't need to be because it's not Scary Farm. And really the kids that you would make it more kid-friendly for probably aren't going to be there anyway.
Kidley.
Kidley, yes.
Kidley.
What did you guys think of it?
I loved Puppet Up so much, and as you said, and that's what best way of explaining it to everybody is it taps into the original vision of the Muppets. It feels so Muppety. No, it is not the Muppets, but you sit there and you walk out feeling like...
It has the DNA of the Muppets.
Yeah, and you walk out feeling like you just watched Jim Henson and Frank Oz and like that era of Muppeteers. And they were all very talented performers. And I also thought that they did do some Jim Henson stuff in there. Like they did
Classic bits, yeah.
classic bits. They showed video of classic bits and they also recreated them, which was an incredible tip of the hat to where it's coming from. And I literally would get a Scary Farm pass just to go see Puppet Up. It was amazing.
Oh, my thoughts exactly. Yeah.
On the note of the performers in it, improv is something very near and dear to my heart. I did it a lot. If you couldn't tell, I'm kind of that kind of person.
Wait, you are?
I know, right?
I'm so shocked.
Good improv is very hard to do because if it's not perfect, it's terrible. Improv is the thinnest line to walk.
Absolutely.
And if it's not done exceptionally well, it is difficult to sit through.
Yeah.
Now, not every joke landed that when we watched it, but a good improv show makes you forget about that because the stuff that works really, really works.
And it didn't matter because they were so good at what they were doing.
Yeah, and
that
they were
even when the joke wasn't funny,
rolling.
it was still like it was like they're really good at what they're doing. So who cares? It was good puppetry. It was good music. Like there was a lot going on.
And we saw Brian Henson. We basically saw Jim Henson.
Well, it's the closest you're gonna see.
Well, and
today.
he looks a lot like him, and the way he
He's a master puppeteer, and you could just see the puppet come alive in his hands. And he's one of those people that when the puppet is talking, you forget to look at the puppeteer.
Yeah.
And I will say, not everybody on that stage had that gift. There was a couple, but nobody was even close to as good as he was. Like he had a little crab that he was making talk, and I was geeking out about seeing Jim Henson's son there, and the moment the crab was talking, I forgot it was Jim Henson's son. And that's the best compliment I can give.
We got to watch him teach someone puppetry.
Who had no idea.
And that was amazing too.
No idea.
But you could see the kindness and the caring and the love for the craft that was instilled in him from a very young age, because it was very easy. They could have roasted this person who had no idea, but he was showing the kindness and compassion.
No, they kept him safe the whole time, and that's another big improv thing, is that doing improv not only is hard, but doing improv with somebody, no matter how good they are, if they're not careful and comforting on stage, makes for a bad show as well, and they were exceptionally good with that as well.
It's great.
Favorite part was of Not Scary Farm?
Not Scary Farm in
Origins.
Origins, and what'd you say?
This year, the hanging. I'm gonna go with the hangings. First time
So bummed
we
I
had
missed
so
it.
fun. Like
it's the first time I've actually liked the hanging, and for it to go that high was pretty good.
What I think we could just hit on this really quickly is there was a moment in the show where they said we need to. What was it? We need to stop.
Well, they gave a literal gallows speech, like.
But it was an actual good one.
Yeah.
And it was basically we need to stop hating on each other and allow each other to like be different, and that's okay. And it was between was it a witch from Calico and then the sheriff, and it was really a great, how we should be treating each other in general. Like this moment of like a moral for the story in the hangings, which you don't expect. All right, moving on to something else unexpected. Frozen 2's trailer.
Unexpected.
Frozen 2's second trailer came out this week, and we have all watched it. And I think the thing that is unexpected for me at this point is how much I am looking forward to seeing this movie today versus a year ago today. What do you think of the trailer real fast, either of you?
Cute snow lizard.
That is true.
I saw you react when you saw the snow lizard, and I'm like, well, Katie's got a favorite.
Also, there's a lot of really cool, deep meaning, and I'm sure we're going to learn a lot of lore, but cute snow lizard.
And world building that would lead to a really awesome video game / Disney Plus series.
Yeah, it's called Kingdom Hearts. Maybe you've played it.
What do you think of the trailer?
Trailer's good. Continue on from the last one, I feel like they're really pulling a lot from some Scandi lore and Norse lore. They're talking about a forest to the north that no one can go in or out of. That's the land of the fairies from Norse legend. And we get to see a Selkie, or sometimes called a Nick, which is a water horse. And that's all over northern lore, and the fact that Elsa's writing it means very, very good things.
Nay,
very good things. Yeah, so there's a ton of lore stuff. That was the biggest one that jumped out for me, though.
And I like what they're doing with the characters. Like, it's clearly going to be a finding yourself or keeping yourself as she's discovering more and more power, and how it can seduce you, the magic can seduce you, and trying to decide if that's more important or is sisterly love. And that'll be interesting to see how they resolve that as they go forward. And I just think it's going to be it looks like it's going to be better than the first one. Like, if I had to make a prediction right now, I'm going to guess I'm going to walk out. The first one I walked out, I was like, oh, that was nice. This one I'm like, that was a good job.
I feel like it is going to be more critically well received. It may not be as popular as
It's
the
viral.
first. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be impossible to pass up Let It Go.
yeah.
Like, it had some iconic moments in the first one that are those Disney magic moments, but this one I think is going to be more rewatchable. All right.
And that's smart for branding, because if they tried to do another Frozen, they would have made another Frozen. Nobody would have cared, because they would have just watched the original Frozen.
And it's kind of what happened to Wreck-It Ralph.
A bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Frozen 2 looks like it's going different directions, which is great.
Things also going in different directions is Indiana Jones. They again have a new writer, which is their old writer.
I was going to say different directions. Kind of went.
Lots of different directions. So David Koepp, is that how you say his name? Was the writer. He did Crystal Skull also. But if you go further back, he wrote Spider-Man. He wrote Jurassic Park. He's written a lot of really awesome movies. Mission Impossible, the first one. He did that one as well. And he is now back on Indiana Jones 5 project. I'm just going to read the quote to you guys, and then we'll respond to this as we kind of come towards the end of the show. He was doing an interview with Den of Geek on another project, and the interviewer basically says, is there anything you can tell us about Indiana Jones 5? I know you're not on the project anymore, but is there anything that you can say? And he responds, I actually am again. I'm working on it again. We're still trying. And I think we've got a good idea this time. We'll see. End quote.
Yikes.
Aliens.
Again?
Different ones, though.
Different aliens.
In
Got
the
it.
past, they've said what they really try to do is create wherever Indiana Jones is at in time, they try to create a movie around what would have been kind of that era, like what were the main things going on in that era, which is where the space thing and the aliens came from, because that was kind of the obsession of the country at that time.
With the Cold War and space race.
So my question is if they bump him up to like the 70s.
Oh no. Bigfoot.
That was a lot of the missing link stuff. I could see them going more Cradle of Civilization on that.
I honestly would love to see them do something with like South America or even like in Mexico. Like, what happened to some of those lost civilizations that
Like
just
that
disappeared?
Well,
And-
yeah, I'm trying to think what is drastically different, because they've covered Judeo-Christianity pretty
Heavily.
and with great effect too. And now they have covered a bit of this Mesoamerica.
Did they talk about doing Atlantis at one point? Or is this just in my
I
imagination?
don't remember that.
I mean, that could be something. That
Indiana
type
Jones
of thing.
is gonna ride a water horse.
I could see them doing like more Eastern lores, which would be interesting, which they've done a bit
totally.
of. But like they did more Hindu feel in the second
For the
film.
second one, yeah.
But there's like Confucianism and Taoism and Buddhism that would be great to pull from. The Monkey King Indiana Jones. That would make me so happy. Monkey King Indiana
I don't think
Jones.
they should do monkeys anymore.
Monkey King
What
Indiana
do you
Jones.
think of Kep's quote? Because supposedly in 2 years we're getting this movie. And Harrison Ford is quoted recently as saying, "We're getting close to filming," which this quote does not make me think they're getting close to filming.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I think it's supposed to be like July 2021 when this movie comes out. I think it's July 9th.
Yikes.
Without looking at my notes.
You know, that makes me think is they're going to go heavy on the green screens.
It's possible.
Oh.
Yikes.
I withhold hope. It's going...
Let's ask a simpler question. Is this movie actually going to happen?
Yeah.
I bet it will. And I'll tell you why. Harrison Ford is at least willing to do it.
He wants to do
Yeah.
it sounds like.
And even if it's a terrible film, do you know how much money they're going to make?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It really doesn't matter from a budgetary standpoint. Like, they will make money.
Do you think it'll be John Williams' last film?
Don't. Whoa. Whoa, Nelly.
No, I don't think it will.
I'm just asking.
That was a rude thing to say.
No, he's kind of putting some indicators out there that he's retiring at some point, and
Yeah, my dad said that too. It's been 15 years.
you've got a point there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised though to see John Williams go into classical music. Like, he's got some amazing classical stuff. I would not be surprised if after Star Wars he does one more Indiana Jones film, and then focuses all on classical stuff. Just because, talk about a end cap to an awesome career.
I could see that. Him literally just walking into any philharmonic and be like, "I'm directing you this week." Just
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he just did his stuff with the violinist that he basically created arrangements for a violinist to do all his music, and he worked with her. But anyway, so we do think the movie will happen. Hopefully it will be good. We have no predictions on what it will be at this point.
or too many predictions, I guess.
Let's do this. For an upcoming show, let's look at, for Harrison Ford's age, where would that put them in the timeline of Indiana Jones?
Okay.
And then let's see if we can narrow it down into kind of the MacGuffins of that era, and see if we could maybe create some realistic predictions of where this could go. Does it sound like a good idea?
Yes.
All right.
Homework.
Just go to thegeekscorner.com. That's thegeekscorner.com. It's a website you go to whenever you hear a bell.
That was loud bell. Go to dapsmagic.com, check out all the Disney and geek news as it happens, subscribe to our mailing list, and find our Patreon because we just changed some things this week.
Yes, we did. And subscribe to this YouTube channel while you're at it, because we've got a lot of new things coming up. I will be heading out to Walt Disney World next week, so lots of videos, including Epcot Forever, The End of Illuminations, Reflections of Earth. Muppets present Great Moments in American History, which we're very sad to see go.
Very.
But you won't want to miss any of it, because we're going to try to get a ton of it up as quickly as the internet allows us. But that is all the time we have for you this week, so we'll see you around the corner.
Bye.